championship matches at 142 pounds in Class A. Zach Stalder of Omaha, Burke, meeting up with David Foster of Papillion, LaVista. In Class B, it'll be Stephen Vach of Sydney, meeting up with Jason Castro of Gering. Class C, Brandon Harris of Burwell-Taylor, facing Bubba Stork of Arlington. And in Class D, MJ Lyon from Rushville meets Lucas Mohr of Winside. And you got to say that on the all-name list, Bubba Stork will be right there.
He's on there, without a doubt.
And again, we have a lot of number ones against number twos. We have one of the number one, number two matchups in Class B with Stephen Vach, 31-3, a junior, meeting Jason Castro, 31-4, junior from Gering.
We talked about how smart those coaches were as far as how well they've done on the rankings. Then we get a couple guys in here that weren't ranked, so we stick our foot in our mouth.
Well, there's still some other number one ranked guys. Zach Stalder of Burke ranked number one, and MJ Lyon of Rushville ranked number one. But right, there are some that sneak through on you, and that's good to see, and that's what the tournament's all about, are those upsets. I got to admit, it seems like this year there were less upsets than I've seen in other years, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that says something about the quality of the field. The quality was just really excellent. About the top 10-15% was just outstanding, and that was evident by some of the champions you saw crowned. I just did want to make a mention, all the medal winners you saw. RJ and I talked about, we both think that sometimes it's harder to get some of the other medals. Is where we have a tough situation right now in Class D, trying to get the takedown and a possible pin move. In that situation was MJ Lyon of Rushville.
That's the only match we have any score on, 2-1. Oh, with the exception of now C, we just got a takedown by Brandon Harris of Burwell against Bubba Stork. That could be a really good match in C.
You've got Harris, who's 32-1, has gotten 2 pins on his way to the finals, and Bubba Stork has had a tough one in the semifinal, 6-5, but the 32-3 sophomore has wrestled pretty well.
Yeah, most of the matches Bubba Stork has had this weekend have been that 6-5. I think 8-6 was one of his other ones. He's just a hard-nosed kid that doesn't give up and just keeps coming and coming and coming.
Well, we've had a lot of interruptions in our matches.
And there's a reversal for Bubba Stork, ties it up 2-2.
We've got stoppages in both B and D right now. No score in B. In D, it's a 2-1 lead for MJ Lyon of Rushville, who's 35-1, a junior.
Well, we got stoppages on 3 out of the 4 mats for blood. Like I said, they're real careful about that these days. So
MJ Lyon, by the way, was a state runner-up a year ago in Class C at 135 pounds. So he moved down a class in school classification, but up a weight class. Of course, this year, I tell you, with the classifications changing, in fact, I had one coach who remained nameless who is, I think, in Class C, said he'd be willing to take on some of the Class A schools. Yeah. But that's the way coaches talk. But there was a lot of discussion about classifications.
Well, I think without a doubt, I mean, many of these teams could wrestle in any class. Omaha Gross, obviously, they're winning the Metro title, against all Class A schools. Over on mat 1, it's 1-0 in favor of Foster from Papillion. Zach Stalder, the number 1 ranked wrestler in the state, 35-0, has 186 takedowns this year to his opponent. We got a cradle situation by Bubba Stork on just as the first period ends. That's going to give him a 5-2 lead in Class C. Both of those wrestlers in C are cradlers, so we might see more than one cradle in this match.
Well, that thing turned around in a hurry. And it is a 5-2 lead now. Bubba Stork leading Brandon Harris in Class C. In Class A, it's a 1-0 lead for David Foster of Papillion, LaVista. In Class B, we've got a 2-0 lead for Jason Castro of Gering. And in Class D, it's a 2-1 lead for MJ Lyon of Rushville.
In Class B, that's the 6th meeting between Stephen Vach and Jason Castro. Vach holding the advantage 3-2, but every one of them apparently has been pretty close.
I'll tell you something.
Jason Castro is explosive.
There's a 2-point reversal scored in Class A, as getting the reversal was David Foster, Papillion, LaVista, and he'll take a 2-1 lead.
I believe that was a takedown because he let him go.
Oh, okay.
And I just saw Coach Mike Braun in the corner for Burke saying, let's let him up and take him down. Zach Stalder, like I was saying, 186 takedowns to his opponent's 3 this year. And Coach Braun told me right before the match that's what their strategy was coming in this. He scored in all 3 of his matches this weekend over 20 points per match. And most of it with takedowns. That's a lot of takedowns.
Well, that is. Tied at 2 now in Class A. It's kind of unusual. All the matches we've had so far, RJ, we have not had a scoreless first period. You see that a lot of times, but none today. We've had scoring in all the first periods. And we have a stoppage again in Class B, and can't give you the score right now because someone's standing right in front of the table.
I think it's still 2-0 in favor of Jason Castro. I can't tell if they've ended. They just ended the first period. They're getting ready to start the second one.
In Class D, we have a 2-1 lead for Lucas Mohr of Winside, who's 36'9", a junior. MJ Lyon of Rushville, his opponent. And that's going to be a good match, too. We may get some back points here. And right now, it's Lyon.
We might get a fall out of this situation with a minute to go in the match.
Well, it looks like Mohr is going to be able to wiggle his way out of it. Doing a good job, but still cranking on the pressure is Lyon. Again, Lyon, a state runner-up a year ago in Class C.
Bubba Stork in Class C doing a good job of the sophomore controlling the senior. He's still ahead 5-2. He's been riding Harris this entire second period. There's Foster in on a good double leg shot on Stalder. You see the confidence Stalder has in fighting that off.
And there will be 3 near fall points in Class D as MJ Lyon takes a 5-1 lead over Lucas Mohr of Winside. Mohr in the white and red, and MJ Lyon in the orange and black.
We got a 2-1 match in Class B between Jason Castro and Stephen Vach. That could possibly be one of the highlight matches of this.
It's number 1 against number 2. Vach rated number 1, 31-3, a junior. Jason Castro, 31-4, a junior. He's ranked number 2.
Like
he was a state runner-up a year ago. Vach was a third-place finisher a year ago.
Vach also won it his freshman year at 119 pounds. So there, we talked earlier about individuals that had a chance to be 4-time state champion. That just goes to show you how tough it actually is.
Well, Vach's one of those individuals who's had to keep jumping up weight classes. And he was 119, then 125, and now 142, which is a huge jump. And that's can make it really tough.
This is his 3rd state tournament. He's only a junior, and he's got 1 loss because he did come back last year and get 3rd. So that means he only lost 1 time. An escape by Harris in Class C makes the score 5-3 in favor of Bubba Stork. Going into just as we start the 3rd period, he's going to take the down position. Like I said, watch out because Harris is a cradler. Another near fall situation over here in favor of MJ Lyon. Number 1 ranked wrestler.
In Class D, as Lucas Mohr on the bottom, the wrestler from Winside. And boy, this looks like it's a pin right now. Apparently not.
There it is.
There it is. Well, I'm 2 for 2. I better quit predicting while I'm ahead.
That makes MJ Lyon 36-1, the state champion. He's ranked number 1, remains number 1. He's a junior. He'll be back next year, but likewise, so is Lucas Mohr. He's a junior. This was another case where it was a very balanced weight class. A lot of wrestlers with really good records. You find that in the middle weight classes that we're talking about adjusting the weight classes again next year. There's just too many guys bunched up in the middle and not enough on the ends, on the light side and the heavy side, so they're probably going to adjust them again next year.
In Class B, we have the tightest match, a 2-1 score right now with Jason Castro hanging on the lead over Stephen Vach. In Class C, a lot of action going on right now. Bubba Stork and Brandon Harris going after it. And it's a 7-4 lead for Bubba Stork of Arlington, who is in the purple. And in Class A,
we had a pin by Zach Stalder.
Well, Zach showing
it happened so fast we didn't even see it.
Zach
must have been right at the end of the first period.
He'll finish unbeaten at 36-0. Great job by Zach Stalder of Omaha Burke. He really he won 20-5, 20-6, and 24-7 to get into the finals. David Foster had won 10-5, 12-5, and 10-6. So those two able to score a lot of points, but Stalder getting the pin. So we have 2 matches over with at 142 pounds. And in Class C, it's a 7-5 lead now for Bubba Stork over Brandon Harris. And in Class D, or Class B rather, it's still a slim 2-1 lead for Jason Castro of Gering, who's in the right now on the bottom in the blue, and in the red on top is Stephen Vach, who continues to trail by 1, and they're in the last period. But there's an escape. Nice escape by Jason Castro to go up 3-1, but it does give Vach an opportunity to tie up with a takedown.
All the matches I've seen of Castro, he's a very quick, explosive wrestler. There he is in quick on a shot. Not able to finish and get the 2 points yet.
You know, it's amazing. You watch a guy like Castro, 31-4. You wonder who in the heck beat him. How did he lose 4?
It's all Vach. Or Vach has beaten him 3 times anyhow, and I believe his other loss was to a wrestler from Wyoming. So 9 seconds left. We got a tough situation here in Class C. Bubba Stork trying to hang on for the victory in the last 5 seconds. Brandon Harris trying to get a throw, and there's the match. The sophomore Bubba Stork wins his first state title. He's a hard-nosed kid. He really is.
He's from Arlington. 7-5 the victory for Bubba Stork over Brandon Harris of Burwell-Taylor. And that was an outstanding match. Only the second loss of the year for Harris. Stork finishes at 33-3.
Now that brings us down just to 1 match in Class B, and it's a close one. It's 3-1 in favor of Castro. 46 seconds remaining.
We had 2 pins in our other class. Zach Stalder pinned Dave Foster in Class A. In Class D, MJ Lyon with a pin over Lucas Mohr. Again, we're at 142 pounds. We go all the way up to 275. There's the state championships.
Of course, if Castro wins this match, that means they're 3-3 this year. I think we'll have to wrestle 1 more, won't we?
Well, whoever the other one of them would probably like to. Boy, Castro almost coming up. .29 seconds remaining in the match. And it's a 3-1 lead for Jason Castro of Gering, who finished second a year ago. Stephen Vach finished third a year ago at 125. And Vach needs the takedown to tie the match up. But the way Castro's wrestling, I'm going to make another prediction. I don't think he'll take him down.
You're getting really good at these predictions with 15 seconds left. Steve.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you know, sometimes you just increase your odds. That's what you got to do. Castro would be extremely difficult to take down. It's the other thing you got to realize with him being so short.
Oh, he almost got it, and he comes out.
That's because I just said it. He's short, and it's hard to, I mean, there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to find a place to get a decent takedown.
It's hard to get underneath him is the big problem. Boy, that was a good match. That was a really good match.
Castro wins at 3-1, and he'll be the state titleist. He's a junior, and Vach is a junior.
Those guys wrestle 100 times, they'd probably be 50 and 50.
I think if I was one or the other, I would find which weight class the other one's going to be in and get the heck out of it. Now look at this. This is great. Look at the respect they show for each other. That's fantastic.
He won it when it counted. He did it in the match that counted.
Let's take a look now at the results in the championship matches at 142 pounds. First of all, in Class A, Zach Stalder of Omaha, Burke with a pin over David Foster, Papillion, LaVista. Class B, it was Jason Castro winning 3-1 over Stephen Vach of Sydney. In Class C, Bubba Stork of Arlington, a 7-5 win over Brandon Harris of Burwell-Taylor. And in Class D, MJ Lyon gets a pin over Lucas Mohr of Winside. Now let's set up the matches for you at 151 pounds in